Should governments implement Christianity's principles and laws into their government? This is what Charlie Kirk was just asked about from this college student at Florida State University. And it's a very interesting topic. I would love to discuss it with you guys. Make sure to hit the like button to help more people see this video and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know I can do it with your help. So thank you so much for all the love and support. Let's get into it. Shout out to Charlie Kirk for this amazing podcast.
I'm excited to see you. I watch your videos all the time. I disagree heavily, and I originally wanted to come up here and maybe troll, but I actually have a genuine question for you. And my question to that is, why is it that you are in strong support of religious values being instilled as American values and protected by the Constitution when our founding fathers kind of tried to stray away from a instillment of a specific religion on the entire country?
Well, I would reject the premise, but let's just kind of let's ask you, by what standard do you think we should live by?
Standard in the country? Live by?
Just as humanity, what should we say is good or evil, and where should we get that from?
I think that we should have a set amount of values that come from what we as a society kind of create, and that can be contributed by a mix of different religions and perspectives and opinions, which is why I disagree with the instillment of a specific religion on the entire country.
So I'll tell you what I believe. I believe specifically the Ten Commandments is a great place to start. What would you say are rules for life, and where do we get them from, and why should we believe them?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I mean, so again, like I said, I think that a lot of things we can point to the Bible, we can point to the Ten Commandments, we can point to a lot of these teachings, and we can say, okay, here's a good set of values that we have that are outlined in the Ten Commandments, in the Bible, and stuff like that. But we can also, what that raises the issues of is what that does for the rest of the country. Because if you flip that logic and you applied it to, let's say, values of Islam, values of Hinduism, values of Buddhism.
We weren't founded on those values, though.
Correct.
Right?
We were not founded on those values, but also I think that just because we were founded on beneficial values of a specific religion does not mean that we as a country should look to solidify the entire country in religion. And what we're seeing a lot in government is more religious involvement. We're seeing a lot of money.
Which we should. We should have a ton more religious involvement. And the reason primarily being is if America goes secular, it will lose its mind.
Would you agree then?
And if America goes secular, we've learned this. If something gets taken out, something has to fill it. Like, that's just reality. If you take God out, the God of the Bible, out of society and culture, I'm sorry, it's not going to just be empty. And there's always going to be some type of thing that you are making most important, just like in our lives. And it's the same thing in society and culture in all of a country. And that allows very paganism thoughts and practices to creep in. You think you're just going to be a secular society without God, but no, there's more demonic things, I would say, that creeps in.
We're seeing that.
Would you agree with if the president elected was Muslim or had a different religion than you? Would you also?
Well, let's take Vivek. I mean, Vivek has a worldview that I share. Vivek is a Hindu.
But how would you feel with those values as a whole being?
I mean, Vivek is a Hindu, but Vivek would come up here and say the Ten Commandments is one of the greatest moral breakthroughs ever. The point being, and this is what I'm getting at, is that Christianity is the greatest ethic that humanity has ever had to live under. Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Christianity, as we know it, is the greatest moral ethic, and these are things you agree with. You know, love the stranger. You know, help others. Have justice.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, love thy neighbor as yourself, like Leviticus 19, right? These are beautiful teachings. In fact, they're so beautiful that you think that they're common, when in reality the rest of the world doesn't always have them. Even freedom of speech and natural rights and charity to the lesser, these are all Christian values. So what I'm getting at, though, is if we remove Christian values, which you may or may not be suggesting, what do we replace them with?
I guess my question is more centered around using taxpayer dollars. Well, I guess I can lead with a question. How do you feel about taxpayer dollars using to fund things like Bible teachings in public schools?
Yeah, I totally support that. The Bible is a historical document.
And so my question again is, how would you feel about taxpayer dollars going towards teachings of the Quran?
Well, they actually do that already.
And are you in support of it?
Hold on a second. Pause. We do have a religious texts of a lot of public schools. Yes, we should look at all religious texts of great faiths and learn and examine them. You know, okay, what does the Quran say? What does the Bible say? If it's in a public school.
But I think you know what I'm getting, like pointing.
I think what he's missing is Christian values are the one that helps a society thrive. If you live by the Sharia law, it's a pretty crazy society. Our entire society would be flipped upside down and people would be getting killed for doing random stuff, for leaving Islam, for doing their own thing. Well, then people say, well, that's in the Bible too. No, but that's not how Christians live. Christians are taught to love your neighbor as yourself, to pray for your enemies. You know, it's important to read the Bible in context.
But it's important to understand, though, that only one of those texts was believed and continued this country moving forward, which, of course, is the Holy Bible. And the teachings of the Bible were at 55 out of 56 of the signers of the Constitution were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. God is mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence, right? We were an explicitly Christian country. In fact, John Adams said that the Constitution was written wholly for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate for the people of any other. I might not convince you on this. What I might convince you on, though, is that if you say Christianity should not be involved in our government, fine. You got to replace it with something. And if you say it's neutral, there's no such thing as a neutral public square. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that, and I'll be quick because I know there's other people I want to talk to you. But what I'm saying is, I would say that I disagree strictly with a certain teaching, a certain religion being the basis of what we take all beneficial teaching that we apply to the United States.
Fine, but then who chooses the moral code?
I think that the people as a whole who can represent different religions,
how do we do
can
that?
represent different beliefs and opinions. It shouldn't have to come from a specific religion, because what does that one religion teach that the other opposing viewpoints or atheism can't teach?
A lot of different things. And when you say there are no objective moral values, then you get caught in a pickle. You get caught in the fact that people have their own opinions and say, no, that's right. No, that's wrong. Some people might think that child pedophilia is okay. You know, there are people out there, not everyone. And then there are some people who think that it's okay to be a murderous adulteress. Well, those two might not be hand in hand, but you get the idea.
Because what does that one religion teach that the other opposing viewpoints or atheism can't teach?
Hold on a second. No, that's an interesting question. What does Christianity teach that others do not? A lot. A lot. For example, in Christianity explicitly, there are beliefs that are not found in Buddhism or Hinduism. And again, just look at the fruit. The West is a Christian project. So why would we cut the fruit from its vine? Why would we cut the flower from its roots?
Yeah, and my question is because I think that there's a lot of disagreeing points of view that conflict that, right? Abortion rights. I know that it is a largely Christian value to not be in support of a woman's right to choose whether or not she has an abortion,
to protect
and I know that
life,
you are
sure.
also anti-democracy, and you know
I'm pro-elections, but yeah.
Yes, and you're opposed to just the majority ruling over the rest of people, right? And so why is it that you are in support of people that make up the slight majority having power to instill legislation and rules and laws that their religion teaches on the rest of the society?
Again,
is what I'm saying.
First of all, you can't have a free society without having some sort of a belief in God.
So then why should we use Christian teachings to apply that to the rest of society when they disagree with them?
First of all, it's the best. Show me a better alternative. No, seriously, I mean, you can laugh at it. Show me a society that has gone away from Christianity and has improved itself.
What I'm
No, it's important.
Okay.
I believe that America should remain Christian. Show me a formerly Christian country in Europe that has gone away from Christianity and has become a better, stronger, more better.
What I would point you to is probably towards a country that does not apply those values to things like abortion rights. So I'll probably point you to I'll probably point to Norway. I'd probably point you to a lot of the places like that because they're not having people die from lack of access to abortion.
And this is where we just have disagreement.
Why does everyone think that that's the worst concern in the world? People are dying left and right from being able to kill your own child. Such a terrible straw man. It's nowhere close. The numbers, the stats are so underwhelming because 99% of all abortions just out of inconvenience. Why does it stop every time?
Have disagreement. I think Europe is a disaster right now.
Okay.
I think Europe is a husk of its former self.
What I'm arguing is that I'm saying in the specific areas of that there's not people literally dying because they're forced to give birth to a human that they don't want to carry and they don't have proper access to abortion, and those are Christian teachings that are not.
Yeah, in this country we have babies literally dying in the womb every single day.
Yeah. I mean,
3,000 abortions a day.
I mean, I think that's a big deal, but I also at the same time, there are those same Christian teachings.
I would just ask again. You don't have to answer it. This is an interesting question for you, and I want you to think about this for the next week or two.
Okay.
The most important book in my life, of which all truth stems from, is the Bible. What is your most important book?
Right-Wing Revolution by Charlie Kirk.
Without the troll, though, but like it's important because at some point you have to appeal to something. You have to have a rule book. Every species, all human beings need a rule book for life. We tell you what our rule book is. And you know, I know it's like putting you on the spot, but think about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a rule book, you're lying to yourself. Everybody has a rule book you live by. You just got to tell us what it is.
I mean, yeah, people have, that's the same thing for God in religion. Everyone has something that they live by, even if they don't want to admit it or not. It may not be the God of the Bible or Jesus, but it could be themselves, could be their friends, it could be power, money, pleasure. That's what they live by and live for. That's why it's so important to, I don't know, find something that is going to never leave you or forsake you or leave you less satisfied after you go to Jesus. And that is Jesus at the end of the day. So I encourage you to go to Jesus. Know that he loves you. In the description below, you can click a link to help you to decide to follow Jesus for the first time. It would be the best decision you could ever make. I encourage you guys to do that today. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Always remember, guys, Jesus loves you. Have an amazing day. God bless.